I was kicked out. It was like a week before my birthday. Then I went to live far away from everyone. It sucked because like, you know, my parents, we're Mexican, you know, you don't do that. And it was hard because I love my sisters and I felt like they needed me and I felt like I let them down. And I know my parents, I mean, I left because obviously they kicked me out, but also because I know they needed space and I know they needed time. Like me, I needed time, you know? So I gave them their space, I gave them their time, and it was 5 months later, and you know, I got back in the house again, and we went to Mexico, and everything seemed a little bit better. But I know I gave them their time just because I know it was something very shocking for them.
The first time I actually told somebody, it was actually one of my best friends back when I was like in junior high. But I only told him because I knew he was gay too. And that night we both came out to each other. And that was about it. But I always knew deep down inside, I just never let it out until with him.
I was stationed while I was in the Navy. I was stationed in Monterey, California. And I knew there was something different about me. So I decided to go to a local drinking establishment, which was a gay bar, to see what it was like. So I went and I met people and I felt very comfortable in that environment. So I decided that my lifestyle was a little bit different than everybody else's. And that's when I realized I was gay. At that time, being gay in the military was not acceptable, and should they have found out, they probably would have discharged me. Gay people are, in my observation, are some of the hardest working, most professional individuals that I've come across. I think if the community would give them a chance, which I'm sure that they are, slowly but surely, but you can't change the laws and the rules and expect everything to happen overnight. Even in the military, gay people they seem to stand up and perform better than their peers. Nobody really knows why. Maybe it's because they feel as if they have something more to prove and to be accepted for who they are, not what they are.
We've found that it's important to have a safe space on campus, specifically, you know, for our LGBTQIA students, because unfortunately students sometimes still experience harassment, discrimination, even violence elsewhere on campus and in the community. And so having a place that folks can come to, can seek resources, can get the support of myself as a staff member, but we also have a large student staff here who can provide peer support, we found has been really important to cultivating a sense of inclusion on campus. So I kind of describe what we do in 4 circles. So we support students, we build community, we educate the campus, and we play a role in institutional advocacy. And so supporting students is definitely like the ground we're standing on. It's the most important thing we do. But I haven't had someone like come in here and do anything really outlandish, but I've certainly had students experience really awful things outside of here and then come here to get support. I mean, definitely I would say that violence is still a huge issue facing the LGBTQ community, and especially the trans community, and especially people of color within the LGBTQ community. Those are our 2 highest targeted populations, trans people and people of color. Derogatory language, how often folks are hearing anti-LGBTQ language on campus, and found that both based on sexual orientation and trans identity, over half of our LGBTQ students hear derogatory language at least once a week, sometimes several times a day. I mean, these are all identities that people have, and identities are personal. They're who we are. And so, I mean, I think that if we want to respect people and we value people and we value diversity and we value difference, then we need to be able to honor people with the language that they use for themselves. And so I think language is important, and I think it's a way that we see power being used. Sometimes it's used to recognize and value and honor people when people take the time to use the language that people use to describe themselves. It's also used to hurt and to harm and to devalue when people don't use the language that people use to describe their lives and their themselves.
You know, the center is just one place, and really what we would like to see is people on our campus and in our community becoming greater allies and advocates for the community themselves. And there are simple ways that we all can expand this center to wrap around all of our communities and spheres of influence. One such way is my program, the Safe Zone program. Folks can take these workshops and really learn how they can better advocate for the needs of their LGBTQA+ colleagues and friends and family members, and then take that information and create more spaces like this center, just so that we have an even deeper net of support for folks who are coming out, who are trying to live their everyday lives, but running up against some barriers.
What most LGBTQ people are struggling with, it's housing discrimination, it's employment discrimination. We still don't have like assured like non-discrimination policies in employment. People can still be fired for being LGBT in many places across the nation. There's no like federal policy on that yet, although they've been trying for a very, very long time to get that passed.
I would say that the best feeling is to be yourself and with the one you love, because it's hard to be trapped in your own world. And like especially like if you're in love with someone and not being able to express it out, that's like drowning in your own glass of water. And just who cares? I mean, it's your own life, your own heart. We only got one life to live. So just love who you want to love and marry who you want to marry.
I agree.